Hello everybody, welcome to the show. Guess what time it is? Another unboxing. Here is the only Hercules line that showed up so far, and it is a 8 strand, 10-pound test, 100 meters, and I think it was like $4.50 or $5. So we're going to jump on these reels here in a minute. I'm going to talk about them, but for right now we're doing an unboxing first. I ordered the line bulk. I found the 8 strand from one place that was several colors that I wanted. It's all Hercules, and it was anywhere from $4.85 to $5 for 100 meters. So I got, now this I think is like maybe 50 or 100-pound test. I can't remember. Why did I get that big? Because I wanted to have some thick line. Now that's the thin stuff. Yeah, that's 20-pound multicolor. I think I've got, maybe it's the green I ordered. But I wanted to have some real thick stuff, because I use it like as backing, almost like they do on fly reels, some of these deeper spools, like on this reel. Now I got a shallow spool coming for it, but say if I wanted to use this reel with braid, I would actually line it first, and you can use thicker braid because you order 100 meters of 100-pound test braid will fill up a spool faster than 100 meters of say 10-pound test, right? So you buy just those big spools, the thick braid, if it's the same price, and you can, just put it on fairly tight and fills up the spools better. But like say on this spool, I would want to go, it depends on what thickness of braid I want to run on this spool, but I would run at least to this part, or almost up to where you can see that first line, close to that, and then just fill the rest with that thin, say if I wanted to run 10 to 15-pound whatever braid on it. And especially on like some of these the Corrados, I know you don't think that's real deep, but if I'm running braid, I don't need a lot of that area. And that's kind of what I started out with, this cheap braid. I started out just ordering it to run as backing as filler braid for my Power Pro. Then I just started using it. I just put some of this green stuff on a reel and started using it and went, you know what? I like it about the same. Like, it's not that big a difference. And that was just 4 strand, the Power Pro 4 strand. J Peace, what's up? So that's just, I think that's what they call Army Green. Yeah, 50-pound test. So that's probably what I'll use as backing, however long it lasts, and maybe order some more if I run out or whatever. And I think I got red and yellow in like 10 and 20-pound tests. That actually looks more yellow in person with this. It's brighter than that yellow, but it kind of looks green on the camera, but in person it looks more yellow. So I'm thinking on these reels that are already kind of red, I don't know, let me know what you guys think. Instead of using red braid, I'd use yellow braid. And the reason I use bright braid is, well, a couple reasons. Braid is real sensitive, except when it's, you don't have it very tight. But then if you have bright braid with a fairly long leader, you can use the beginning of that braid to your leader, kind of like a strike indicator. You see that thing twitch or do anything funny, usually it means you have a hit, even if you didn't fill it because the line, you're waiting for the bait to drop or whatever. So yeah, I ordered 10-pound and 20-pound. I'm going to put 10-pound on anything I plan on using for BFS. 20-pound is going on my regular stuff. I know I should probably get bigger for the bigger rods, and I might. But for now, I plan on running 15-pound leader, even on my big stuff. That's the biggest line I use is 15 pounds. And that's just another green in, yeah, 20-pound green. I'm thinking I'll put this on the Corrado, and I'm debating on putting the handle. I'll show you this one. This was a different type of cheaper green. It's kind of faded a little bit, but it looks, it's not really a lime green. It's kind of just an off green. But I thought about putting the handle back on the Corrado that it came with and getting some more of these and putting them on. Or some kind of green camo with the green deal and then with green line on my Corrado and putting it on. Maybe the big sexy, or just leave it on the rod. I have it on a 6'10". Got two more, and I know they're both red. And I was hoping the red would be, I don't know, more like Power Pro, that vermilion red. But I think it's going to be just like that other red. On camera it looks real red. It's actually almost maroon. And I think, yeah, it's about the exact same as that stuff. So if you guys want a real bright red, the Proberos, if you look up Proberos on Aliexpress, is more of a bright red. That's what that is. This is more of a deep, it's not really deep red though, it's almost a maroon color. But it does kind of look red once you put it on a reel. It's fairly close. So hopefully with all this line, and each spool is 100 meters, I'll be able to rig up all of my rods. I got 10 and 20. I haven't decided yet. I was debating on which way to go, so I just ordered 10 and 20 in all the colors. But I'm thinking I'm going to put on the Cunning Tetons and the more true BFS stuff, I'm going to put 10 pound, this 10 pound yellow on those. I'm going to put 20 pound red on all my other ones, except for maybe a few here or there. And I'm not sure what that'll look like actually spooled up. It's got kind of every color in it. It's got so anyway, this kind of has every color in it. That baby blue, yellow, orange, purple, green. I don't know if that looked good on any of my reels or not. I just got some 20 pound test. I might put it on that one if the red and or yellow don't look good. Just try it out, or if anything else, I'll use any of these. If I don't like the color, I'll use them as backing braid for something else. For I think most of them were $4.85. A couple of them, for whatever reason, were $5.50. It may be the red ones, I can't remember, but got almost all the colors of the rainbow here. No purple or blue, but it's in that one. So, I don't know, feel free to comment below. What do you guys think? I've got all these reels. This one had red on it all of last season. Donnie Peterson. Yeah, I know. I've had it before. The dye with Braid and the multicolor I had on a couple different reels a few years back. I don't know, that dye with Braid, I did for the money. I didn't like it. I don't know, something about it. It almost seemed too thick or too bulky. Anyway, last year I had red on this, and it's got so much red on it already, and it's going to be one of my more BFS, true BFS, kind of for cranking though. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. I may go with the dark color, but I was thinking I could just put 10 pound yellow on the spool, would break that up, or I may just leave it red. Comment what do you guys think. This is still my favorite. It's the smoothest, coolest looking one. Yes, it's got a couple scratches. I bought some silver fingernail polish to cover up. It was just black in a couple spots. I filled that in. It's a little harder to see. You really have to look at it to see the two gouges in it now. Sure, if I took a little time and, you know, worked on it, I could actually even get it better. I'm not much of a body guy, though. Then, of course, I got the Aldebaran 50. It's going to be on my 6'6" medium rod. I'm going to try that rod. It may not be long enough for like a jerk bait or just the mid-size cranks. These two are slower speed reels. That's why I'm going to put this on the 6'5" BF rod for those little bitty. This is going to be my main tester for the little bitty cranks that I'm trying to find the best square bill. I plan on getting a lot of work with that one. This one's going on for the bigger cranks or just anything where you'd want, you know, not a high-speed reel. Whoa, look out, guys. Somebody's drinking. Then I got this one is on the, I plan on putting it on the 6'8" if it can handle the shaky heads and stuff like that with that stock spool. If not, I'll move a more BFS reel to that and put this one somewhere else. Just got to get them out and try it. Probably go with just red braid on this. It's already got some gold highlights. Throw some red braid on it. It'll match up real good with the rod it's going on. Of course, you see what I'm already doing with this guy. I put some of the braid I already had, and I haven't decided what color, if I want the brighter or the duller color on this one. Probably this. I don't know. I'll just spool some of this on there, some of the 20-pound test. This is going to be my main, I think, chatterbait reel. It is high speed, but that's all. Last year I pretty much threw the MG Extreme 2 with my chatterbaits. Same roughly speed, same type of rod, 6'7", medium heavy. And we're going to see what she'll do. Like I said, I still haven't decided on this one if I want to stick with just a red color, yellow. I'm thinking yellow, and I'll add some more gold here and there. I think that would look good, actually. Then this, hopefully, I don't know. Usually when these colors dull out, they actually get a touch brighter. I would like to find a true gold. I found gold braid. I don't know if you guys remember, if you follow the channel far enough. I found some gold braid a few years back. Came from Russia or somewhere. That stuff was it like fell apart. I didn't use it for long. It would just break for no reason. It was not good. So far, the Hercules, the Proberos. I guess I should grab that spool real quick. I got one spool left of it from last year. This Proberos Premier, but it's just a 4-strand. I don't think I could find it in 5, but I didn't have an issue with it. But you can see it's definitely, it's a true, like almost a racing red color. This is more of a just reddish maroon. None of these are that vermilion red that the Power Pro comes with, you know, as this is probably the closest, but more maroon than red. This is like crazy red. And when it fades out, it almost instantly goes from this red to light red pink color. But it doesn't look bad new. And the only other braid I've tried actually doesn't even have a name. I ordered some a while, like the first braid I ordered off eBay, it didn't even have a name on it. It just came like this on both sides and had a little sticker that said what it was. It was all green, and it was like crazy cheap. It was like $2 a spool. And it was fine. Like, I didn't have an issue with it. It was 4-strand. I think this is actually some of it still left over from way back when. If you can make out that color. And I believe that's 20 pound, I think. I think that's 20 pound of the old original cheap stuff that seemed fine. But with, as you see, the cheap reel. But as you can see, it goes good with this one. It didn't take much, just a little handle. Add to this little case, and got a cool looking reel. So I'm thinking about doing the same thing like I had talked about earlier. Same exact thing pretty much with this Corrado DC. It's got this green here, still got the handle full length. I'm thinking about putting a full length handle back on it, and putting these or similar camo knobs on it. Putting green braid on it, and going from there. Comment what you guys think about that. This little dude, once that little spool comes in, I'm thinking I'm going to definitely go with yellow braid, though, I think, on this guy. 10-pound yellow braid, 10, 8, 6-pound leader. Now, a couple of these reels, and I still think I'm going to do that. I'm going to use the Berkeley transition. Just give that line another shot. I used some kind of Berkeley fluorocarbon several years back, but I was using the whole, like the entire spool. So I may try that again. I'm not 100% sure. It's like $15 for a spool of it. I may just get a spool, put it on a couple different of the BFS ones, and just give it a shot and see what I think. But I think this thing has so much red going on already that no matter which color red I put on it is just too much red. I guess I could always put, well, this is 20 pound. I could always put order some more tin and put on it. But for now, I'll probably put yellow on it. Call it a day. If you guys know of a source for true gold colored braid, let me know. I don't know of one. Like I said, that one place had it, but it sucked, and I haven't seen it since. You search gold braid and you won't find anything. So anyway, what else? That's it, I guess. Stay tuned. A lot more coming up. I finally got enough line in to get this stuff rigged up. And if you guys, I mention it all the time, but I was running 4-strand all the last year and the year before, but my favorite overall, is probably still the Power Pro 4-strand. I tried the 8 slick or whatever it is, Power Pro. I don't like that stuff. I just don't. This stuff's supposed to be 8-strand. See the 8 plies. I'm going to give it a shot this season. I have no issue anytime I've tried the 4-strand. And I think I had some Hercules last year, but I had Proberos, Hercules, and a few other brands. I had that, if you guys remember that gray line, which is awesome, but I could only find it like in, I think, 18-pound test. It was the only thing I could find it in. But that line was good. I didn't have any bad line last year. The only bad line I've had was that gold stuff I talked about. Coming, the cheaper stuff from either eBay or Aliexpress. This braid is pretty much, made. It's pretty tough. I always buy bigger than what I put on as a leader. I run braid to a leader. So if I'm running 20-pound braid and a 15-pound leader, the leader always breaks. If something's going to give, it's always the leader, or I forgot to mess with the knot, ran around a tree a few times, that kind of thing. Never had an issue with the braid. And if I run a 10-pound, I think all last year, though, actually, I think I didn't even run 10-pound braid. I think I went with 15-pound and 20-pound braid is what I ran all of last year. No issues. This year I figure I'll go to the 10-pound. I had Power Pro 8-pound, and I'll be honest, the only reason I don't go smaller than 10 and went 15 last year was pretty much just the eyesight and tying. I've got pretty decent sized fingers and hands, and you start messing with that small line and needing glasses in the first place, which I wear, but when you're trying to tie those knots, especially when you're out on the water, I like to simplify everything. So just like we talked about knots, when I'm out on the water, I don't want to mess with the FG knot. That's why I went away from the FG knots. When I get out on the water and say my leader, I just decide it's time to change the leader. It got frayed all the way up. I wrapped around a tree. We do that sometimes. I don't want to have to set, and you know how hard it is to try to not throw. I'm already dealing with the filming and all that. I got to switch out GoPro batteries, all that kind of stuff. I don't want to take time that it takes, and then you still don't know 100%. And that's where, if you guys don't watch Tactical Bassin, they very often say several things that as good as anybody could say it. And the reason he'll explain his knots he uses is because he can tie them and see that it's tied right. And that's what I've been trying to explain to people about the FG knot. I can tie it and it looks perfect. You know, I'm like, man, it's like good. And it may not be though. Like it's so hard to know for sure if you got that knot right, and then to find out by a big fish pulling the, you know, leader off your braid. That's not a good way to find out. When I tie, I'd use the double uni, and then either the Berkeley trialing knot, or every once in a while I'll use the shark knot. Like, but it uses so much line when you're dealing with the 6 or 8 foot leader, and you go to tying a couple different shark knots. It eats up a lot of line real quick in a day. You know, if I'm switching out, because I use snaps. That's another reason why I use snaps. I want to be able to switch out real quick. But you know, you catch a few fish or you throw it around a tree or two and you fill it, and you're like, you need to retie the snap back on, which that's cost me once or twice last year. I went fishing for like 2 weeks in a row without tying that snap off, and I lost my favorite lipless, which also led me to find the hard knockers. But anyway, that's besides the point. I want that knot that I know as soon as I tie it, the double uni, the Berkeley, and the shark knot for that matter. Once I tie them and pull it, cinch it tight, I can look at it and go, perfect. That's, you can't tie it any better. I don't care if it's the strongest knot. As some of the other knots, it's as strong as it's going to be. Some of those other knots that they claim are stronger than those knots, you tie it, but you're looking at it like, I don't know, because you all know that's tried it. It'll look okay, and then it's not. It's weak. So that's why I use the knots I use. They're quick on the water, and I can tell right by looking at them that I did it right. And if I did it wrong, I can uh, clip it off, retie it, you know, and get it tied on right. But to be honest, you can tie the double uni. Can, you know, you want it to try to lay down right, but that is a good knot. It's just a matter of you fish it too long, you overdo it like with any knot. It just goes in and out of the guides too much, rubs on something too long. You know, all your knots need changed every so often. They just don't last forever. Just like your line, you know, 3 to 6 foot of your line needs switched every so often just to keep it fresh. There's stuff it's getting banged around on and, you know, weakening it. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I've talked too much, and I got to go to bed. Hope you like this video. Donnie Peterson has seen gold mono. Yeah, I've seen gold mono too. I think the Berkeley carries gold mono and fluorocarbon. Yeah, I had the gray braid, gray braid on all of last year. It's actually under here. This is the reverse spool from this reel, and that's how much it still could use some on that. But yeah, the gray braid looks pretty cool on like some of these darker black or gray reels. And it was strong, it was stout, and it was made somewhere else. I forget, it's in other videos, but... Alright, what else? Is that it? Do you put tape for backing when you first start spooling line on? I did, but no. I use regular line. I take whatever roughly my thickest leader material I'm going to run, since I run leaders. I take, you know, not a lot, just enough to tie a knot around the spool and to maybe let it make, I don't know, 3 to 5 wraps around the spool and be able to tie it on to the braid. Then that way it'll bite into itself. Plus, it gives the braid something to bite on once the braid starts wrapping around it. You know, I've heard people talk about, you know, just run your braid through these holes. I'm telling you guys, these holes can be very sharp. And here's the thing about, you got to remember, even though you say you got a deep spool, all right, like on, let's find this guy right here. Say you got this huge deep spool, and you're like, oh, I can tie onto that, and then like a bass isn't going to run me into that. But with braid, even though you wrap that all the way up to the tip top with braid, once that pull gets on there, and it may not seem like it, just like what'll make the whole thing slip, there's actually pressure being put on that knot if you tied it through there from the get-go. Like, so if I do not recommend running anything through these holes and tying them on, because I can guarantee you this one right here, this cheaper reel, it would eat right through that braid. It may not be today or tomorrow, but probably the time you really need it to catch and hold a fish, it will just the pressure pulling all the way through and twisting on there will snap that, and then your line will just start spinning. But it's real simple. You can take, it doesn't take much tape. You can either put a piece of tape, and if I put tape on one side, I like to put, you know, a little tape, and doesn't take much, masking tape, whatever, put a little tape, spin it, and put a little tape on the exact opposite just to make sure it's perfectly balanced, same amount of tape. Tie your braid on, and that should cinch down, you know, and not slip. So then it should just be like regular line. Once you start cranking it tight, it shouldn't slip. But I kind of went away from all that. It's simple for me just to take that little, I probably start out with about a foot to, you know, not much. You can start with a foot and a half. Tie it on here first, run it through, you know, tie it just where you think you're going to get about 5 cranks, and then the braid starts. And I haven't had any slipping issues then or any breaking issues with it. And use, like I said, if you got a rod, you know for sure you're going to be using 15-pound mono, fluoro, or copolymer leader, then use that same leader material for the tie-on, and then you won't have any issues of it breaking. Say if something does start to spool you out, because a few of these I've done before, I've stuck just like the 10-pound. I'm like, well, if I get spooled and I'm fishing 15-pound, it's a big fish. I probably get to that end and be like, going, gone. So anyway, that's what I recommend. I'm out of here. Any other questions? What knot do you use? I don't even know what you call that knot. I mean, I'd use a double uni, but the knot that you go around, let me show you guys real quick. What the heck knot is that? I don't even know what it's called. And by the way, this is all jacked up, but there's what I use. P-Line Original. It's a copolymer. It's kind of this grayish color. You can only get it at Tackle Warehouse. I think it's the only place I can find it at. But you can see, like, once you get it, it will kind of hold the shape of a spool or whatever, but like once it gets in a little pull on it, it doesn't take much. Once you start using it, it stays, you know, it doesn't have that coiling effect like a lot of other line does. And it's tough. That's why I like it. So what knot do I use? Let me show you what knot I use. I take this right here. Let me go. I'll just start this one real quick. Now if it has a hole, I do use that hole to cheat it through there. You know what I mean? I'll put it through there. Make it see. And then spin that spool around to get the line around. Oh my God, come on. Come on, the folks at home want to see this knot. Oh my goodness. It's a lot easier when I'm not trying to film it. Trust me. Okay, here we go. Now here's what I do. Can you guys see that? Now keep in mind, you're going to want to get this all wet once you get the knot done. The first thing I do is I tie a knot right in the very end of my line. And you can cut that off later, or if you tie it close enough to the end, you can leave it if it lays down. It's not a big deal. So right here we go. Alright, so I'm all the way around the spool. I want to start with a knot like this, and then I want to come back and put it back through like this, and I hope you guys can make that out. You see what I did? So then I'm going to moisten that. I'm not going to moisten it because I'm not going to leave it. I'm going to get that wet, and then I want to cinch it down. I'll try to show you. And I want to pull it until it gets tight to that other knot that I made at the end, and maybe just a snug little bit more. So see, that's down there. So now see how it's still spinning? Now sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. Okay, so it caught, and I'm going to wrap. I mean, it's usually, it doesn't take much, just a few turns, 3 to 5 is about all I do. But you could feel free to go, you know, especially on a deep spool like this, go like all the way, whoa, like that, you know, 10 or just enough, just to where you know that's not going to slip. To where if you're pulling it, it's pulling that out, and you can make sure your drag's pretty tight. Hey, that thing don't click going tight. I didn't like that. You guys hear that? It doesn't click going tight. There it goes. But you know, as long as you can do that, it means it's catching. It's biting on itself. So then, you know, tie your braid on, and you will be good to go. So I hope you guys got that. I gotta take this back off. I don't want that on there. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet, Satan. Okay. Alright, I'm done. Whoa, that spool landed way over here. Alright, yeah, no problem. If you guys have any other questions, comment below. This video is done though. I'm out of here. Let me know what you guys think of the Shimano's. Now, actually, I've always been a fan of Shimano. I've gotten them, tried them, and then got rid of them. Stuck with Daiwa. Then they went with the Tatulas, and I'm like, I'm gone. So Abu Garcia, love those reels, but none of you guys fish Abu Garcia. And I'll be honest, this reel right here is probably just that single reel. Once I got it and started using it, made me decide I should just try all the different Shimanos, see what I like, see what's what. If I don't like any of the others, I'll just start buying all these. These can be picked up right now and probably only going to get cheaper with this new one that came out. They're going to have some scratches here and there. They're going to be 150 to 200 bucks. They originally were 420 or more, and these are awesome reels. They palm actually solid. They feel like they palm big, but I guess I tried to explain it to a guy at the, I think it was up at Rogers. The problem with the Tatulas and a lot of other reels is like right where they fit on the reel seat and right the way I palm them, it feels like I'm holding the ball with my fingers, like when I palm it, to where like this reel and some other reels, when you palm it, maybe it feels big, but it feels like you got the meat of it up in your hand and you're holding it. It just gives you that confidence that you're holding it tighter than those reels with the big hump in the front, which is that all the Tatulas have. I don't know about the newest CT Stees, but even the Stees SV, the A, they all just have that awkward feel that I could not get used to. This reel feels nice, solid in your hands. It feels bigger than you know, the Aldebaran, which still feels good. And then also, now this one doesn't. I'm probably going to switch the thumb bar back. That's the only downside to this. It looks cool, but it doesn't have that high setting thumb bar, which I actually like. I guess some guys don't like that. I like that flattened when I'm, you know, casting. It just feels better to me. The Acrados, even though it's a little different thumb bar, it's still the same kind of thing. It sets up higher. Feels good. These palm good. They definitely have a little bit, they're shorter, but they palm as big or bigger. Probably feel a little bit bigger than this reel, just by a hair. But they do not palm like they look huge. When you look at that gearbox, and that gearbox is kind of big, but it's cut out just right for me anyway. And I think how a lot of people, when you grab it, it doesn't bite in. If you guys remember, there was talk on the. All right, one last thing, I'm done. If you remember when the Gen 3 Revos came out, there was talk about how that gearbox would, and it was kind of a sharp thing, and the way I palmed, my fingers would get sore from the way it was, and it was this crazy round gearbox. They have actually done away with that problem on this reel, even though it sets down. And the Gen 4 Revos still don't feel like this reel does. This reel here, I guess even this, with this little knob here, they've kind of, Shimano's caught on to that. I kind of missed the boat on these reels. They're already like discontinued or don't sell them. But they make a lot, the Ingetsu and a few others, the Casitas MGL. These are cool palming reels too. They've got the same kind of setup. Gearbox comes up, cuts out with a little bit of a spot there. The way I palm, that one finger just kind of sits there. But they're the same way, that just the way the gearbox is designed and the way this reel is, it palms awesome. Alright, hit the like button if you haven't already. You should have already hit the like button by now. You should be subscribed if you haven't. And help share the channel. Tell your friends, your neighbors, everybody you know. I would like to thank everybody. We are over 6,000 subscribers. That is awesome. I don't know about if and when I'll do giveaways, because back when I was in the day and I was doing giveaways, it didn't seem to really help. All it did was cost me money. And I don't have a lot of that to go around. As you guys can see, I've been spending a lot of it on this stuff getting set up for this year. Alright, I'm done. Bye. Hasta la vista. Let me get this line. Oh my god, I made a mess. It's already, what time is it? 11:04. I gotta go to bed. I gotta get up at 6:30 in the morning. See ya.